guys, so we made it to North Carolina. It was about a 6-hour drive. We drove from Florida, so anyways, super glad to be here. We're gonna head over to Thicwhips right now, and yeah, I'll see you guys there. All right guys, we are approaching his garage. Now he always shoots this blue C8 right here, so that's how I know I'm in the right spot. So let's park and try to find him. What's up, man?
How are you, man?
Doing good.
What's your name? Michael, right?
Michael.
Nice to meet you, bud.
Sorry, that was bad. There we go.
All the way from Colorado, right?
Yep.
What's up, dude? What's your name? Jason. John, nice to meet you.
All right, guys, so we've got John right here from Thicwhips. So it was a pretty long drive out here, but we finally made it to him. So there's the C8 that's always popping up in his videos when he...
Yeah, I don't even know who owns that.
That's crazy.
It's
That's
like
so wild.
My neighbor, but I've never met him, and he hardly drives.
So here it is, guys. Like you see in all of his videos. Here is the man cave.
That's right. That's right.
So awesome. It is way brighter in person. This lighting definitely helps.
Yeah, it's interesting to film in here because if you film like directly into the lights, it makes everything else super dark. So you have to be cautious about it, just picky about how you film it. You know?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Money.
I swear, guys, every BMW YouTuber always has a Keys Motorsport little banner on their wall in their garage. We are obsessed with that guy. He hooks it up.
He's the godfather, man.
Yeah, he's our dad. We're all his children, and he's our dad.
He taught me most of the stuff that I know, and he was just making videos in his driveway when he first started out.
Yeah.
But I mean, when we started making videos, I'm sure you can say the same. When we all started making videos or wanted to make videos, you know, Justin, Brian, like these are the guys who were out there the most making all the content, and we really looked up to them. So, you know, as soon as he developed his company, Keys Motorsports, it was like a no-brainer. Like, this is the guy I'm going to work with.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's just the best. He's awesome.
Yeah, so just had to point that out for you guys. All right, so as we know, Thicwhips has been an influencer on YouTube for a few years now, mainly specializing in BMW content, and that is the purpose of this series is basically meeting with all the BMW influencers and kind of just hearing their story and how they got started and why they joined the BMW community. So if you kind of want to just share your story and what you like about BMWs.
So as most people know, I started my channel was about 3 years ago with an F30, the 328, which was which I got a lot of heat for because it had the N20 and it couldn't make a lot of power. But I think that there was a lot to be said about that because a lot of people did want to learn how to make their 328s, you know, maybe perform better or look better. And actually at the time, you know, I had this 328, didn't really plan on modifying it all, and then just started doing some smaller things. And as the mod bug starts to get us, we just go down that rabbit hole where we start doing everything. And I had actually grown up working on different Hondas, but you know, I'd never really like filmed anything that I did, and always just sort of had like a knack and was interested in making YouTube content and just creative film in general. And so I started filming it, and I used, you know, at first I used a $50 GoPro session, like nothing fancy, and I just started filming everything I did to the car. And I think where I sort of got some traction was when I started making beamer code videos. As there wasn't a lot of content out there on that. And people were like, this is really helpful. Like if you could just keep making these videos and showing us how to do it, you know, you'd probably get a following. So I just kept doing it. And here we are 3 years later, and dude, I never could have imagined, I never could have imagined it would have gone to this, but now it's, you know, now it's my full-time gig, and, you know, we've built multiple cars, and yeah, who knows where it's going to lead us, but I'm excited for it.
No, seriously, congratulations on the growth and the consistency and the quality. You know, all those things just make you like such an awesome influencer to watch, and for all the you know, the BMW community, even just car guys in general. So
thank you, man.
You definitely make some awesome content for us. So what got you into BMWs? Why is that something that's been a big part of your channel?
Well, when I was younger, I actually really, you know, when I was going to get my first car, I really wanted to get like an E30 BMW. And, you know, at the time I couldn't afford an older BMW. I couldn't afford the maintenance, so I ended up getting a Honda. But I had always been interested in European automotive and motorsports. So I had a couple of friends who had older BMWs, hung out with them a lot, was always, you know, interested in buying one. And later on down the road, when I wasn't really focusing on like building cars or anything, I was finally financially in a position where I didn't buy it to build it up, I didn't buy it to make it fast. I just bought it because I wanted something nicer and more comfortable to drive. And so I ended up getting the 328 from a dealership in the Midwest, and then you know, I had that car for 4 years before I even touched it. And then I just started, like I said, I started doing stuff to it, and it just went from there. But that was kind of how it started, and then, but I always had a knack for the older BMWs, like the E36, and so I knew once I had gotten to a point where I could get one and build it up on the channel that I would do it. And so now I love these newer cars and newer BMWs. They're great, but I kind of find myself like going backwards in time and like fulfilling those dreams that I had, and you know, when I was younger, to buy older BMWs. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that is so cool. I feel like we all, you know, kind of had a similar story with getting into BMWs, and
yeah, for sure.
Just the looks of them. I mean, you look at a BMW and you're like, how can you not want one? So they're just like some of the best looking cars out there. Well, sweet, man. You know, such a cool story, and it's always nice to hear how you got into this kind of stuff. So perfect.
Yeah, for sure, man.
All right, guys. So we're just gonna cover, you know, as we all know, the channel is called Automotive Therapy. So we want to ask John right here, why are cars a source of therapy to you?
Yeah, so I think that there's a few angles to this answer. The one is like the more obvious, being able to just get in your car and drive and kind of get away from like the daily stresses of life and, you know, bills and stuff like that we don't want to always have to think about. But it's nice to be able to just get behind the wheel and drive and not think. And the other side of that for me is more of a, like I'm scratching an itch when it comes to design. You know, like when I buy these cars, I always have a vision of how I want it to turn out. And it's honestly therapeutic for me to learn about the cars and go back and really research the platform and learn about it and just grow in that way. And then, like I said, scratching that itch, I envision what it's going to be. And at the end of the day, when I finish the build, it just feels really good to see that finished product, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very cool. All right, guys, so we're gonna sit in the M3 real quick. I've never sat in one of these, and as you can tell, he's got the race seats in it, the roll cage. It's so mint in here. Looks awesome. Wow, you gotta like jump over that.
I mean, like, could you imagine going on a road trip with those seats?
Yeah.
It's rough.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it's rough.
But I can imagine being on some nice like mountain roads and just having this thing hug you in.
Yeah.
The Alcantara looks cool too in here. It's a nice touch. Check this out, guys. And the best part is we got the 5-speed manual right there. That is like the heart of this car. That is what truly makes this a fun little race car.
This one I bought about 2.5 months ago for $5 grand at Cars and Coffee, and it was black. Well, it's supposed to be black, but it was more like rust and patina. But basically, the reason I bought it was to build, for one, get my hands dirty and just build a car up like from scratch, and then two, to build it primarily for the track and become a better driver. So I've had it for a little over 2 months. It was at the wrap shop for about a month, and yeah, that's where we're at right now. We're almost there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting close to it.
No, it's coming along really well.
Yeah.
I mean, the transformation from the before and after, it is like crazy what you've done to it so far.
Alright guys, so as you can tell, we have his Supra in the garage now. So this is it, man. This is your baby.
Yeah, this is the one, right?
Yeah, this is something that's been probably the most popular Supra on the internet for the most part. I mean, everybody's seen this Supra, I feel like.
Yeah, she's pretty well known, man. It's actually funny because, you know, I kind of like got my name or whatever from building BMWs. And then when I bought this, it was sort of a curveball. And I think when I bought this, it was still like a very controversial car. Like not everyone was signed up for these yet.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is like people just didn't really understand the potential of the B58 and the Supras, and they didn't quite understand the whole BMW and Toyota partnership thing. But I think with all of the content that we made and what we've done with the car and the platform, a lot of people have kind of come around and seen what the potential actually was in these cars. But I was a skeptic too. Like when I bought the car, I was honestly kind of on a whim, and I was just kind of bored with like the car that I had, and I wanted to do something different.
Which was the M2, right?
Yeah, so I had the M55 M2, which is a great car. Don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic car. But and I love that car. But I just wanted to do something completely different, and I was a little bit burnt out on just strictly BMW content, and I kind of wanted to just try something new and expand a little bit. And so I felt like this would be a good segue because the BMW guys could still appreciate the fact that it had the B58, but it also would bring in like a new audience or some new people who are either, you know, Toyota or JDM guys. I actually came from the world of JDM, so when I was younger, I was working on Hondas. But yeah, so we got our hands on this one and then started building it up, and like it quickly became one of my favorite cars, if not my favorite car to own, just purely on the amount of performance that you could get out of the car, how easily you could get that performance out of the B58, the looks of it. Like there's just nothing in this price range for $50,000 that you can really get that looks like this.
Especially this one looks like a Batmobile.
Dude, it's just a wild car, and like it's honestly never ceased to amaze me, dude. Like everything I put on the car just takes it, it runs with it well, and it just responds really, really good. So yeah, it's been a great car to own, man.
And you know, not only were you one of the first people to kind of test the waters with it and everything, but you also were one of the first people to create your own aftermarket products for it. And that looks to be this emblem right here.
Yeah, which is actually, that's one of those things where I'm kind of just like a freak about details, and like, you know, I've always liked kind of customizing small little parts on the car that maybe some people don't really pay a ton of attention to. But I had ran into an issue with the factory badges just sort of failing. And they had like a lot of cracking issues, and they started to just fail over time. And then I looked up online, like a lot of people dealt with these issues. And then I looked up the price of this, and I was like, wow, it's a really expensive piece. I was like, what if we came up with something that was, you know, different, but just looked better and was maybe a little bit more affordable? I only have a yellow and a black one. But it started out with, so I actually linked up with a buddy of mine who does custom 3D printing, and we ended up making these backing plates. And we found these matte black Toyota emblems off of the GT86. And so the remedy was, you couldn't just take the emblem and throw it on the bumper because you'd see everything behind the emblem. The remedy was 3D printing a backing plate, making it nice and smooth, color matching it using OEM paint codes to every single car, and then allowing people to just customize the badges as we went along. And I think it's just a cleaner look in general. Like, I think it just looks a lot cleaner on these cars. And a lot of people, I guess, agree with it. So.
Now, I mean, just the fitment and the finish, it looks like this is something OEM from factory, so...
Yeah, that was the move, the move for sure. Like, we didn't want it to look out of place, we didn't want it to look aftermarket, we wanted it to look as natural and factory finish as possible, so...
Okay guys, so that was our first BMW influencer, the man himself, Thicwhips. Guys, he's so cool and super generous to let me come out and film with his cars and his garage and everything. So go ahead, if you haven't heard of his channel already, which I'd be surprised if you haven't, go hit the link down below, subscribe to him. He's almost at 100,000 subscribers, so let's get in there, guys. But once again, thank you so much. It was awesome.
Anytime.
Nice to meet you.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you guys with the next influencer.
Peace.
Peace out.